Welcome to Mile High Reefers. I'm Scott Anderson, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to make a video in quite a while. Reason being, our beloved Iankin was ambushed on Mustafar. The Empire has struck back. Unfortunately, the Jedi Order has fallen. All that remains is me and Iankin. We are hidden away somewhere on Naboo at our rebel base. Ian is safe in his Bacta tank, and we're fighting back. But it's hard. The Empire, they're in charge right now. We're doing everything we can. Unfortunately, that means the tank hasn't been getting the love it needs. So today, we're going to talk about how things are going with the tank. So let's dive in and see what's going on. Overall, the tank's doing pretty good, all things considered. It's not where I want it. But given everything I've been going through for the last 6 months or so, I'm just going to say we're doing really well. Fish are looking really good, doing really good. All the tanks, fat, healthy. The 3 clowns are doing great. The damsels, great. No issues. So fish-wise, we're doing awesome. Coral are doing pretty well. Biggest change is I did frag up some of the gold frog spawn. I had a friend come over and we fragged a couple up, sent some pieces home with him, ended up fragging some of the other hammers and frogs in here as well, including the golds, and of course I just sent some home with a good friend. It's how I like to do it, right? I'm not in this for the money. I like to just give away my extra coral. Little rock in the middle, it's doing pretty good. We got chalice in the front. That thing always just does well. It's kind of a pain because it's too close to the glass and it's hard to get to the algae right here. Then we got the crazy T Monipora. That thing's crazy expensive and it keeps getting burned by the chalice, but for now we kind of got a little equilibrium going. Got a couple of leptos, they're doing great. I had a big chunk of Pocillopora in here and it's kind of growing up into everything, stinging everything. It was becoming a problem. So I tried to pry it out of there, which ended up breaking my branching Cephastria. So that kind of sucked. It kind of glued it back together, but doesn't look so branchy anymore, which is annoying. But overall, this is doing good, but we do have Aptasia everywhere, which I need to deal with, but for obvious reasons, you know why that hasn't happened. My giant kryptonite candy cane colony just continues to thrive and do great. I need to frag this colony of frog spawn right here. You can see it's not doing it right now, but it grows right up into the pineapple brain. Sorry, that's messing up the focus every time I put my finger there. That's working better. So this section of frog spawn is growing right up into the brain, and it's burning that brain, and it's actually kind of burned a little hole where I don't have brain growing anymore. So I need to frag the frog before it burns that brain too much. It's on my list of things to do. Bird's nest on top, it's doing great. Frog below, it's doing awesome. And then the little green Monipora. This is a cool Moni because I got that one from one of the Reef Builders things right after COVID. It was at Reef Stock. They were giving coral away. I just stuck it on there, and it's just a good memory to have that coral sitting there. One of my favorite sections of this tank is this center. So we've got the Atlantis pink tip growing out, and kind of all this is grown out on old shelf of Atlantis pink tip. Then we've got some Eilia pectinia right there, and that thing just grows slow, but it puts out those cool tentacles and looks awesome. I do have to be careful on what it touches, but it does seem to go pretty well. We've got the Dragon's Breath acros going up there. You can see a little on the right where the algae is growing into the Dragon's Breath, but this is all working out pretty good. It's growing together and really looking like a reef. In more of the back section, that's where some of the brains are. And I do have a little burning happening on that back brain. I should probably just take it off and move it back if I have space. But that's something I kind of need to look at. One of the things I really love to do in a reef tank is to go ahead and plant Euphyllia in gardens of Palithoa. And that's exactly what's happening here. And they work good. The Palithoas kind of grow out. They kind of give it that field effect. And you have the tree effect of the Euphyllia growing up. They're loving the highlight, the high flow right there. That section's working really well, and I love the way it's coming out. Below them is the Hideen Aora and the Gold Leptoceras. It's just kind of creating this like 3D, like overgrown coral section. I just think it looks pretty neat. I probably will need to trim that hide back. Believe it or not, I just trimmed that hide back a couple of months ago, but that's one I just keep trimming back. Kind of gives that waterfall look and looks pretty neat. Top in the center is pretty cool. On the left, we have a Senal Area. Usually that thing's open up a lot bigger, but we're still kind of early in the morning when the lights came on. But that thing pretty much goes up to the surface. We've got some Manipura spongoda on the right. Hopefully that'll focus for you. Maybe it will. And then we got a little Cactus Coral right in the middle. I love that stuff. It's been growing there forever. Camera really doesn't want to focus on it, but there's a big section of that Cactus Coral down here. So I think this whole kind of center section might fill up with that, but we'll see. All right, I'm having some issues over here. So I've got this long tentacle leather, but as you can see right now, the tentacles are really short, and I believe that's because it's not getting enough light. It's kind of overgrown by all the big corals on top of it. And I really don't know what to do about it because I don't really have enough room to move it and get it more light. So maybe I'll figure out a spotlight or something for it, but it's just been slowly shrinking inside. The fish absolutely love it right there, but it's a real problem with the way it's working. So I do need to figure out something to do with that coral, something to get it more light, you know, something. But the reality is everything else around it is doing really well. Except the big one up on top, it's just kind of slowly decaying over the years. Thing was massive, now it's kind of pulled in, falling apart. I mean, that's a 10, 15-year-old toadstool. I don't know, I think that's kind of the thing that I should cut and then re-glue, restart. The problem is, what do I do with all the old coral? Because I don't need that much of it, and I don't want to put that much into my frag tank. So something to think about there. My fox coral and my heliofungia, those have both really just settled in, and they are doing fantastic right there. So another reason I don't want to just move the toadstool over here is I've got two corals that I really like doing really well. My orange Pavona is doing pretty good. It fell off the rock and landed in the fox coral, which is right there in front of us. So that kind of burned the crap out of it. But it's recovering pretty well. This spot, kind of down low, it's got decent water flow, kind of medium to lower light. That really seems to be where it's loving to be. A nice little gratuitous shot of the clownfish and the long tentacle. I mean, I just love these long tentacles. I love clowns. I love the way they interact with the coral. You don't have to have an anemone, and a long tentacle toadstool is a good way to go. It really doesn't seem to bother the toadstool much at all. My Duncan's Colony, I've kind of moved to the upper back side of the tank. It's really thriving there, which is good because it's a big hardy coral, but it's in kind of an iffy area. It's got a bunch of aptasia and algae around it and stuff, so kind of why I got a tougher coral in an area, kind of a tougher neighborhood. The Insidious Bounces are kind of out of control, but they're just kind of on this back wall, so I allow it. It's working pretty good. The Euphyllia down here really just don't do very well. So these are just some frags of some other stuff I have, but they just don't get happy. I might need to find a better place for them and put something a little more low light loving over here. The 24-gallon is doing really well. Probably the big thing I need to do here is trim up the pink Nephthya. This thing is out of control. It's kind of shading everything out and becoming a problem. But other than too much coral growth from one really big coral, everything's doing great. Gold Lepto is doing so good. I love the patterning with the kind of plating coming off of it. All of the zoas look great. The big chalice on top, it's all doing good. We got some bounces in here. It's just everything in here does well. No fish, minimal water changes. I just let it run. Maybe 5 gallons monthly is all I'm doing to this. And it looks fantastic. And there we go. Kind of a quick, dirty update. How fish, the coral are doing. I mean, honestly, I've had too much going on in my personal life. I haven't been able to do much to the tank. There's lots of things I would like to do. I really don't need more coral. I really don't need more animals. In fact, I probably need to get rid of some to make room for growth. It's not a bad problem to have, but it's kind of where I'm at. So yeah, not a lot going on, but I thought I'd make an update. So if you liked it, hit the like button and subscribe. You never know. Maybe I'll do another video someday. Talk to you later. Bye.